6:38 now. George Osborne's expected to stick to his austerity plan, of course, when he stands up to deliver the budget this morning. But with the economic recovery gaining some strength, could the Chancellor be hiding any surprises in his red box? Well, the one person who would know is our political editor, Sue Jameson. She's at Downing Street this morning. Do you think he'll be in an optimistic mood then today?
Do you know, they hide some things, Ranveer, even from me, which is terrible, isn't it? But I do think, even though he's not a man given to bursts of good humour when he delivers his budget, that he can be a little bit more optimistic here. Particularly, he's going to be quite gleeful, I think, announcing growth's going to be even higher. It's already better than we thought it was, but divided up really into the personal and business sectors. So for most people, he's talking about tax thresholds going up, which will help. He's going to show that he's got the common touch, announcing more help for flood defences and even less duty on bingo halls. But he really does want to concentrate as well on businesses, more incentives there, because unless they grow, then the economy isn't going to continue to recover. Labour, of course, slightly difficult position. Plan A is clearly working a bit. Labour's going to say yes, but it's not working for most of us, and that'll be their defence.
Thanks very much, Sue. Well, let's pick up on some of those points with Shadow Treasury Minister Cathy Jameson and Conservative MP Gavin Barwell. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for joining us this morning. Gavin, whatever is announced today, the poorest in this country will get virtually nothing.
I hope that we'll see a further increase in the personal allowance to help those people that are on the lowest incomes, in work and on the lowest incomes. When Labour were in power, you started paying tax when you earned about £6,000. And to me, the best thing this government has done is it's cut the income tax bill for someone working full-time for the minimum wage in half. That's really good news.
That was a Lib Dem policy, though, wasn't it?
Well, it's a policy that's been delivered by Lib Dem and Conservative MPs voting for it together. But the problem is, it's something I'm very proud of as a Conservative. The
problem with that is that, as we were hearing earlier from Child Action on Poverty, that the poorest actually are on benefits, and they're the ones who have been squeezed and hurt the most through these austerity plans, and they won't get anything because they're just going to face more cuts.
Well, it's inevitable that if you're going to deal with the deficit, you've got to make tough decisions on welfare. Otherwise, you end up all of the cuts end up falling on public services. But what we've tried to do is to make changes that we actually think are justified in terms of fairness. So, for example, the benefit cap, which says that if you're an out-of-work household, you shouldn't receive more than the average typical working families receive. Now, I think that's a change that's actually most people in this country would support.
Cathy, he's just going to tinker a little bit, isn't he, with this budget, because we've got a general election next year, and as the opposition, you must be a bit nervous here because he'll be saving all the goodies for that, especially when the economy is looking up, unemployment is down.
Well, of course, the majority of people in the country are actually not feeling this recovery that George Osborne is talking about.
How do you know that?
Families, well, they come along and tell MPs at their constituency surgeries. Many people are saying that, you know, energy bills are a problem for them, the cost of living, prices rising faster than wages. Families with children, £891 a year worse off, you know, this year because of how this government has taken things forward. And I would like to see more action on getting the long-term youth unemployed back into work using the banker's bonus. I would also like to see a cut in the tax rate to reintroduce the 10p rate, which is something that we have said that we would do, because the recovery, you know, we may be starting to see some growth, but, you know, the recovery is not being felt by, you know, people across the country.
You remember who axed the 10p
tax rate? And we've been absolutely,
Gordon Brown.
And we've been absolutely clear that in retrospect that was not the right thing to do, and we'd like to see it reintroduced.
Okay. Do you think, Gavin, that this threshold at which you start paying 40% tax, which is, again, are not the poorest, these are the sort of reasonably comfortable people, do you think they're going to see a benefit today?
Well, as a Conservative, I'd like to see all people pay less taxes, but my priority is to start with people on lower pay. I think George Osborne has been absolutely right to say that is the #1 priority, to raise the level at which we all start paying tax. That helps everybody, but the people that it helps the most are the people on the lowest paid jobs, and I think that's the right thing to do.
Just very briefly, if you can keep it short, both of you, will there be any surprises? And if there are, what will they be?
I'm sure there'll be some things in there that we're not expecting, but I hope the main thing that he's going to do is stick to this plan, because it's actually working. The economy is growing faster than any other major economy, and unemployment's falling. Well,
I don't know if there'll be any surprises, and I think today, obviously, we've seen the new shape of the pound. I think people are going to be worried about how many pounds they've got in their pocket, maybe rather than the shape of it.
Who do you want on the back of it? Because there's going to be a competition.
Ah, well, that's going to be an interesting one. Let's see.
Come on, give us a name. Who would you like to see? Ed Miliband, maybe?
Not a politician, I think.
Not a politician,
right,
fair enough.
About that. First sensible thing a politician's ever said on this show. No, thank you. I'm really joking. Thanks very much, both of you, Cathy and Gavin.